Well, here we are again. It is Friday morning, and it's about 8:40. I've been up since about 7 o'clock this morning, just a little before maybe, somewhere in there. And yeah, you can see it's messy. It's been raining most of the night. There's standing water, as you can see, so pretty much cancels work for today. So we've got some other plans going on today. Always got to have a backup plan. You always got to stay positive, even on days like today, because if you let days like this get you down, it just ruins your moral and ruins your mood, and you know, it's kind of depressing. So it will get you down if you let it, but we ain't gonna let it get us down. We're gonna go to Bellhoppers. We ain't been up there and seen him in a while, so we're gonna go pay him a visit, see what he's up to, and mess around up there, see what we can get done today. Maybe just hang out, have a good time, chit chat, whatever. Might bring you along for that here in a little bit, and see what we got going on. I know I got a couple things I can do while I'm up there, so we might try to do some of that. We'll just have to see how everything goes today. But, I think we're gonna start heading that way. We gotta go stop and get us a little gas and maybe get us a little breakfast. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a minute. Well, we made it to Bellhoppers in the monsoon. It was raining pretty bad. People had their four-way flashers on and driving slow. You know, it was one of those, 70-mile-an-hour speed limits, and people are doing 60 and 55 and 45. It's one of those kind of days. Nice, steady rain. Put a lot of water on the ground pretty quick, and it's still raining good. It's been raining all the way from Jeff's house in South Carolina all the way up here to Bellhoppers in North Carolina. So, but anyway, we stopped and got us a little breakfast here, and it's looking pretty good. Got us a little bologna, egg, and cheese from a little local hole-in-the-wall place called The Cafe. And you can't go wrong with a good bologna, egg, and cheese. It's good stuff. It really is. That's a straight-up Southern thing, if you ask me. We like our bologna, egg, and cheese. I know that there's a lot of...
I believe that bologna is its own food group.
It is. Bologna has its own food group. Bologna is good for breakfast. Bologna is good for lunch. Bologna is good for dinner. You can fix bologna however you want, and it is still good. Grilled, fried, it doesn't matter. It's all good. Or just straight up cold bologna, if that's the way you like it on a sandwich with whatever you want on it. It's still good. But anyway, we're at Bellhoppers here now, and it's, like you said, it's still coming down pretty good. But anyway, we're gonna go in here and see what he's up to, and
yeah, because this is what happens, folks, when we try to do anything.
Yeah,
it'll be sunny for a month if we stay separated.
Yeah,
we get together and we're gonna do this today.
Oh yeah, that's how it goes.
I mean, that's really legitimately how
it could be sunny for a solid month. We get together, and the one day we get together and try to do something fun or try to do something, it's raining. I think the last month that we've cut grass, I think we've pretty much cut grass either after the rain, or it's about to rain, or it's trying to rain while we're cutting grass. So we deal with the rain on a regular basis. So we're at the car wash, washing everything off, mowers and everything, on a pretty regular basis, because it's messy. Messy wet grass does not cut very well. We do not enjoy cutting wet grass, but when you got customers that expect their grass cut on certain days, you have to get out there and do it. Because we've had customers wonder whether you're coming, and then you've got some customers that understand. It's raining, don't worry about it. I understand. Come when you can. But anyway, everybody's got their own opinions and beliefs, but personally don't enjoy cutting wet grass.
I thought about bringing a saw to maybe, I said, well, maybe it'll stop and I'll get to play with a saw, but You know, anytime that we bring a saw just to play with, it rains.
Yeah, that's the case. Yank Doodle was here, and we wanted to go out and play, and we were in the shop taking care of some things for him, and Bellhopper was showing him some different stuff, and we were gonna go out and make a video and play with the hot rods, hot rod 372s, and do a little fun video, but we got rained out that day, so we never did get to do that either. So it's always got to rain on the fun days. But like I say, you still make the best of it. You still have a good time. You laugh, you smile. And as long as you got cool people around, good people around, it doesn't matter. But anyway, we'll bring you back at a later date. So stay tuned. Over and out. We're back again. We've been at Bellhoppers for a while now, and well, we've been actually working today. Something we didn't think we were going to get to do, except we weren't doing the type of work we were expecting to do today, but we still made the best of it, and I still had stuff to do. I've got stuff to do everywhere, guys. It's crazy. Work for me never ends, and I have to stop, because if I don't, I'll work so much that I'll never get a break, because there's always something to do when you do everything that I do. When you do chainsaws, landscape, lawn care, porting, and all the other stuff. People calling me needing odds and ends, people calling me about cars and needing car stuff, and just help in general, help moving stuff, because I'm big and tall, and apparently I'm pretty strong according to most people. I don't know about all that, but I guess work will do that to you. And I used to do this thing called the gym at once upon a time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we both did. So, but anyway, we're out here, and because we've been working a little bit, testing a few saws. I've had these saws for a while now, and just really had time to tinker with them, but they weren't a priority. The people that, were letting me work on them knew that. They knew they're not in any hurry. They just wanted them fixed. But first one up is someone who is related to me. It is my grandfather's saw, and he don't ever use it. My uncle actually uses it if it ever gets used, and he doesn't use it much either, so it really just sits, just to be honest with you. But they like to have it around in case they ever need it. But this is something you don't see every day. I know it says 268 on it, and I'm sure most of you seen 268s before. This one's a little different, and it's not because of this sticker. Don't point out the obvious. That's not the reason why. This is a 268 XP, if you notice that. They made two different variants of this, one of which was just the 268 Husqvarna. There was no XP to it. Yeah, I have one too. I actually still have one, and we might do something with it, because it's ported. It's actually on the channel too. But there's actually a real XP sticker here that's not put on there. You can thank my grandpa for all the overspray on it, because he's a painter and he don't know how to move stuff. But there used to be a 268 sticker right here. You can still see a little bit of it. It's about gone now, about wore off. And there's a professional sticker still there. There used to be a Husqvarna sticker there. It is all OEM. And the thing that's different about this saw is the regular 268 is an open port, and this is a closed port saw. They made two different variants. This is the closed port 268, hence why it's an XP. And I know you can step up to a 272 and get a full-blown pro saw, but they did make this saw. They also made the 266 XP, which was also a pro saw. But somewhere along the lines, this one came along, and this is a pro saw. They're all considered pro saws to me just because of how well they're built, and they just don't build them like that no more. But that's a little fun fact I thought I'd share with you guys if you didn't know that. Anybody can put an XP sticker on a saw and call it what they want. But this one here is an actual 268, and it's a small decal saw. This is what we call a small Husqvarna decal. As the years went on, like on the 272s and stuff, they went with a much bigger decal on this type of saw. But what I do to this is he couldn't get it to crank, and it just sits most of the time with gas in it, obviously. And I went through the carburetor, cleaned everything up. The diaphragms, believe it or not, were actually okay in this one, if I remember correctly. I cleaned a little bit of trash out of it. And I put a fuel line in this thing a while back. I think it was the first fuel line it's ever had. And we cleaned the carbon out of the muffler. And I believe why it wouldn't start was because there was a bunch of gunk up around the coil. Oil, grease, dirt, sawdust, built up around the coil. because I had actually got it to crank and it run, but it stuttered a good bit when I first fired it up, and it finally cleared out after it run for a second. I cut it off and let it get cold again, and we did it again, and it did the same thing. So I took the side cover off to check for bare naked ends on the wire, and or what they call open, where the coating had come off, and there was none of that. The wire was intact. Coating's kind of hard, but it was all intact. And we got it all cleaned up, went through it, cleaned the carbon out of the muffler port, which is very important if you don't ever do that. That's something else, a little tip for you. It's important because if you don't, over time it'll build up carbon in there, and what that carbon can do is break off and get sucked back into the cylinder, and well, that stuff's like sandpaper or like putting rocks in there. You don't want that. So a little tip if you didn't already know that. If you did, great. But anyway, that's what this channel is all about, helping people and sharing and learning together, because I can learn from you guys just
really solid saw, that's all.
Just as well as you can learn from us. Yeah, it is a solid saw. Believe it or not, I don't think it has very many hours on it, because Grandpa bought it from the original owner, and the original owner bought it, I think, to do tree work or logging or something, if I remember right, and something happened to his business. He didn't run it very long, and it really didn't have a whole lot of hours on it. So years ago I tried to get it from him, but he wouldn't let it go because he said it was his most reliable saw, and he was right, because it's been reliable for years. It's had weak gas in it, old gas in it, and it always starts. You know, this thing has always sat. It'll sit for a year or 2 years. We'll go out there when a tree falls, and if we need it, you know, you pull it 7 times or whatever, 8 times, and it's running. I mean, and that's from not being started for a long time. And so that's pretty impressive. And to show also how little this thing's been used is I'm 21 years old, and this bar has been on this saw since I was a kid. So, I mean, it's still got paint on it. It's been used, but it's still got paint on it. So, if that says anything, I mean, this saw's not been used much. If anything, it's been abused a little bit from different people using it, not taking care of it, not cleaning it. But I mean, that just goes to show the tried and true 2 Series Husqvarna. I mean, I'm a fan of these saws. I love these saws, and this one here has always been good and faithful. But we have it, and then we have this. This is kind of a hodgepodge hybrid saw. It was originally started life as an 064, the legendary 064, because you can see the air filter cover and everything else. But this came from Bellhopper at one point in time, and Bellhopper he knew somebody that needed some parts for one, so he sold the cylinder and everything off of it, and then he ended up putting a regular 660 cylinder on it. Changed the top cover, and now it's pretty much a 660. And then I met him, and
I bought the saw.
Well, no, actually, you're getting a little too far. Jeff had something that I wanted, and so I ended up buying the saw from Bellhopper, because Jeff wanted to trade me what he had for, you know, he said he wanted like a 660 or something in that realm, and I told him to give me a little bit, and I'd text him back. Well, at the time, Jeff didn't really know me, and Jeff didn't know my reach powers. I texted Jeff back about 10 minutes later, told him I'd already found him a 660, and he was blown away. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe I found a 660 that fast. Because every time he'd ever asked me about a saw, I either already had it or I knew where one was. So he couldn't believe it. He's like, man, I just met this guy who's got all these chainsaws, and he can get like all kinds of cool stuff. So he was baffled and blown away by that. And we ended up meeting up, and we made the trade, and Jeff had the saw for a while, and me and him really didn't hang out very much because we really didn't know each other very well. And one day we met up in a parking lot at what was it, an academy? Or what was it?
I think it was Gander.
It was Gander Outdoors. We met up at a Gander Outdoors, and we ended up chit-chatting in the parking lot and whatnot, and then
For several hours.
yeah, and then it was my only day off because I was working for Spectrum at the time, which, you know, does cable and internet and all that good stuff. And that was a kind of a sad part of my life, if you want to say that. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Anyway,
I didn't like it, to say that.
no. And well, that's actually what I was doing when I met Jeff before we started this business. And I gave it up to do what we do now. And ever since then, I've been happy. I really don't make as much money at times, and sometimes it's rough, but I've never looked back, to be honest. And that's kind of a bucking influence right there. Bucking influenced me and him to do what we're doing now. From watching.
I worked at Sam's Club. I was a maintenance worker at Sam's. I changed light bulbs and fixed stuff. And it's just, you know, the same old stuff every day and just get sick of it.
Yeah, you're kind of an employee. You know, you're an employee and
all you are is a number.
You're just basically a number. You're not appreciated. You're never, you know, you try to do more and you try to show them that you can do more and maybe try to, you know, get higher up in the job and, you know, start making more money and get a higher position where you're more appreciated or whatever, or so you think. And that never happens. The more you do, the more they expect from you and the less they give you. You don't get nothing from them.
Nope.
And they just keep wanting more and more and more out of you. And that's my experience too. And that's one of the reasons why I got out of a lot of the situations I was in. The car industry was like that for me. A lot of the dealerships and shops that I were in were like that to me. I'm young and I didn't get appreciated for who I was and me trying. And, you know, so.
I didn't either. And they worked me a lot. And I was on hard cement all day, guys. So, and for me, the way my hips and back are.
You want to show them?
I want to show them what?
The way you stand and the way your hips and back are. You want for those that have never actually seen Jeff really stand, you can see how his back. You can see it, the way he stands, and that's the way he stands. He's naturally standing. He's not.
No, I'm not.
He's not faking.
Making it up.
So.
But anyway, the hard floor was rough on my back, and I started having real bad back problems. So I went to the doctor, and they did an X-ray and looked at my, I forget what you call them.
Vertebrae.
Yeah, the vertebrae, and they're squished on the bottom.
The discs in your.
Like, you've got to stop. You've got to get off cement. So I was like, okay, well, I want to do something. So, and then that led into our conversation and getting us started. And now, guys, I have very little pain.
Yeah, he does. He's
honestly, and I work hard.
He's happy. I'm happy. We love what we do. You know, and like I said, that's, you know, a bucking influence right there. Watching bucking over the years, and you know, a lot of people are sitting there watching and they don't really get the audacity or the courage to go out and do what you want to do. But don't ever let nobody bring you down. I'm telling you, if you've got the willpower and the want to do it, you can make it happen, I promise. Cause
yeah, you can do anything.
I didn't think I could do it, and he didn't either.
Do it. If I can do it, anybody can.
We're here almost 2 years later, and you know, we make it. I mean, we struggle, but we make it, and hard work pays off. The more you work, the better things are going to get. That's just all there is to it. But we're both going to get it. We're going to make it. Ain't got to worry about us, guys.
We don't have an option. We're going to make it.
Yeah,
there is no not making it.
We don't give ourselves the option of failure, so there's none of that. You know, that's the way we do it. If you give yourself that same option, then there is no other option. That's just all there is to it. But anyway, that was our little rant, and like I said, that's kind of how we met. We met at a Gander Outdoors, and we had spent several hours together and whatnot, and it was my only day off because I think it was a Sunday. And anyway, I decided that I wanted to go inside Gander Outdoor and look around, and he said, well, I ain't got nothing to do. I'm gonna go in there with you. And well, we went in there and we looked at pew-pews and stuff like that, and you know, we found out we had that in common, and we got to talking about four-wheelers and dirt bikes and cars and trucks and chainsaws and all that other stuff. And then I think we mentioned bucking. Somehow I mentioned YouTube and bucking, and we both had that in common too. We watched bucking together. We had that mutual factor. And I think I had mentioned bellhopper, and he goes, I don't know if he exactly knew who bellhopper was at the time. And I was like, the guy that's building most of Bucking's ported saws right now, you know, the one that he speaks of on the channel. He's like, oh yeah, I know who he is. I was like, yeah, well, he just happens to be a friend of mine, and I know him. I go to his house all the time. And he was baffled by that.
Oh yeah. He
was completely baffled. A lot of people get baffled because they don't know some people that don't know who I am, you know, they know bellhopper from bucking. And, you know, just because they haven't discovered me or my channel yet, I really ain't been on bellhopper's channel much in a while, so that's probably why a lot of the new people don't know who I am, which is understandable. But anyway, that's kind of how things got started. And I think I brought him up here and he met Bellhopper for the first time. They clicked, and we've all just been kind of one big happy family now. And everybody loves everybody, and we all do anything for anybody. And that's just how it is. That's the family and the army we've created through Bucket, and you know, hard work and dedication. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate him doing that, because if I'd have never watched that, I'd never be here right now.
yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be either.
I really don't think I would.
I would probably either still be in the car industry miserable, or I'd be, you know, somewhere else. So there's no telling really where I'd be at this point. All I know is I'm happy where I am, and I'm happy right here with you guys and with what I do. I love it, and I don't think I'd change anything else about it. As long as I can make a living, pay my bills, and everything's good, I'm happy. That's all we care about. But anyway, we're going to get back to this saw here. Yeah, this came from Bellhopper, and he converted it over to a 660, and then I got it, he got it, we made the trade. He had it for a little while. He run it a little bit. He had ended up buying a 36-inch bar for it, and I don't know what his intentions were. I guess he just wanted a big saw with a big bar.
I just did. Let's be honest. I just wanted a big saw.
He just wanted a big saw, so he got it, and like I said, he played with it for a little bit, and then, well, he met me, and he mostly had steels when he met me, and he was a steel fan, a steel fanatic. That's all he cared about. If you notice what kind of hat he's wearing right now, you can thank me for that. But
it's changed quite a bit.
Anyway, he gradually started, you know, he realized that I had mostly Huskies, and he's kind of wondering why. And, well, the more he started hanging around me, he started getting to run some of my stuff and getting a feel for some of these old Huskies, you know, because I was a 2 Series fanatic, if you didn't know that. Some of you may not, but I was a real 2 Series fanatic. I know a lot about these saws and the history and different ones, and to be honest with you, I've had probably every 2 Series, just about every 2 Series saw there ever was. Not gonna lie, except some of the smaller, more rare saws. I've not had a 238 yet, and I've not had some of those other itty-bitty ones, but I've had a 242, which I still have. And we're not gonna get into all that because we'll be here all day. But I've had, just put it this way, I've had the majority of the 2 Series saws at one point, and at one point I had all of them at one time. I had intended on collecting pretty much every 2 Series saw until I got kind of overwhelmed with it and realized that I didn't need that many. So then I started letting some of them go, and, you know, here and there and whatever. But yeah, and that's just kind of how it all started. But I think Jeff had ended up, his uncle Roger, who this saw now belongs to, he had one of these 268s. It was an open port, not like this one. It wasn't this saw. And Jeff had been wanting a Husky, and he knew that his Uncle Roger had one, so he knew he down traded. You know, everybody's going to say that he down traded, which he did, but he didn't care. He wanted what he wanted. And, you know, he realized that
over time that it was very heavy, and that really, Jeff, I mean, there really isn't a whole lot of people that need a saw that big with that big a bar. It's just,
yeah, and his Uncle Roger's a pretty big fella, and he loves big stuff, and he likes big chainsaws, and he likes steel. So Jeff ended up talking to him, and they made a trade, and, well, Roger ended up with the 660, and Jeff ended up with the 268, and they moved on from there. And now Roger still had this saw, and he's used it for a while, well over a year, and
then you forgot to mention how that saw rolled into your 3120, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, we're not going to go into that story because this video is already 18 minutes. That's a whole nother story. Guys, if you like story time and history of me and Jeff, I told you we'd tell you a little bit. That was kind of one for the day. That was kind of history on how me and Jeff met, pretty much the gist of it. But anyway, Roger ended up somehow frying this saw, and Jeff says he's pretty rough on stuff.
He is. He's big and burly, and he's just rough on everything.
But anyway, he ended up frying this saw. He didn't know it was fried. He just said that he couldn't get it to run right, and he couldn't get it to run, and he took it to another fella. And that fella had looked at it and tried to get it to run and everything, and he couldn't. So he gave it back to Roger, and, well, Roger, of course, reached out to Jeff. Then Jeff reached out to me, and then Roger reached out to me because he got my number from Jeff. So there was a big hodgepodge there for a while. And Roger lives at the beach, so he's about, what, 3 hours away
Yeah, something like
from you. So Roger, he he had finally got fed up with that. So he's like, well, I'm going to send it to y'all guys because you guys know what you're actually doing, you and Bellhopper. And I said, all right, well, we'll get you taken care of then. I said, don't worry about it. I said, it might be a little while, but we'll get you taken care of. And so I ended up ordering a piston and cylinder once I found out that it was fried. It took me all of 5 minutes to find that out. And I told Jeff about it, and Jeff told Roger, and we went from there. And he said, well, just let me know how much it's going to cost. So we ordered a piston and cylinder and whatnot. It's aftermarket, but he wanted to keep it low budget because this is kind of a play toy, and he's planning on putting this saw on the mill. So, but anyway, it's been kind of built for a little while now, but we had some issues with the handle and everything. But Bellhopper did a little magic on it for us, and kind of got that straightened out. I did the rebuild and everything, but we just kind of been working out some of the bugs that it's got, and we're finally out here to try it out. So and try to break it in a little bit, try to put a little gas through it. So I know some of y'all don't really ever get to see Jeff run the big saw, so we're gonna try to see if it'll cooperate for him and let him be able to try to run the big saw today. So bear with us and see if he can get it started, because it's kind of a bear with that 30-inch bar. It's kind of heavy.
Yeah, it's a little aggravating.
See if it'll start back for us. Forgetting that the steels are up. You ain't run one in a while.
I'm used to Huskies.
Anyway, it seems to be running okay. It's a little wonky, not gonna lie. That carburetor is aftermarket. We've done about the best we can with tuning on it. That's why if you hear it, it sounds a little bit wonky. But it's also not broke in yet. This is still the first tank of gas. We're running 32 to 1 in it just because it's, you know, a little bit aftermarket, and he's going to be milling with it, so we set it up on 32 to 1. So and it's a little fat. I've got a fat tune on it, what I call pretty much a safe tune. I like them that way for milling just because they last longer. You don't really need one that screams on a mill. That's pretty much why a lot of people run governed 090s and just big saws that are normally kind of slow in wood, but they're great for milling, and that's what they're good for. So that's why we've kind of
and Roger, if Roger has something that will scream, guys,
he's gonna
make it scream.
Yeah, so
all the time.
He has no mediation. It's either on or off. It's either wide open or nothing. So that's Roger, I guess you could say. But anyway, so she seems to be running pretty good. Hopefully, you got to see Jeff run the big saw. Yeah. We might put a little time on this this here 268 a little bit and make a few cuts with it. If Jeff feels like running it, if not, he can take over and I'll run it a little bit. It doesn't matter to me, whatever you want to do.
I'll film it.
All right.
Well, you go ahead.
We'll do a little bit of filming with the 268 here.
Yeah, we'll let the young man run the saw for a little bit.
You're young too, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, age is only a number.
runs pretty good. We're not
just-
doing any speed tests or nothing here.
They're just hard to beat.
We know it's pine, we know it's soft and whatnot, but it's just fun to play in, as you can tell. There's a nice little blanket of sawdust. And we've made a couple of cuts, guys, just a couple. Don't undermine that. This tree got utilized and taken care of here. There's a few little spots here and there that's not been utilized yet, but
Yeah, we're holding on to that for a later date.
yeah, we gotta save something for testing. Sorry, Bill Hopper, if you look at that. We got her a little dirty, but yeah, Jeff got a little dirty too, and
It happens.
that's part of it. It's all fun and games, guys. This stuff's fun. Like I say, we're just out here testing them, running them a little bit. We ain't really, these ain't ported, these ain't high performance, these ain't nothing. So we're not trying to show these off. We're just out
And
here.
really, sometimes you don't want to run the high performance stuff. Sometimes you just want to go out and
And
have
play.
a good time and relax.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's what this is. It's kind of a stress relief. It's peaceful. We're out here in the woods, and it's nice and quiet. All you hear is the crickets chirping, and sometimes you don't even hear that. Sometimes it's just total peace and quiet. Occasional bird chirp, but yeah, it's peaceful. But anyway, that pretty much sums up our day. It's what we've got accomplished today. It ain't been much, but you know, when you got 100% chance of rain and it rains the majority of the day, you know, you make the best of it and you get things done. And now these two folks can get their saws back and be happy, and everybody wins. Like Buckin says, love wins, guys.
Yep.
Oh, and also one other thing while I got y'all on here. I've read your comments since yesterday's video, and I'm getting a good bit of people wanting to do the raffle for the saw. So I'm gonna take the time and figure out a few more details, get everything together, and the 359 is pretty much ready to go. So we can do that raffle, or we can wait a little bit, and I can get the 371 together, and we can do them both at the same time. It just depends. So, but we'll take the time and we'll get all the rest of the details gathered, and we'll go from there, fellas. Folks, women, children, if you're watching.
Everybody in YouTube land.
Everybody in YouTube land. Anyway, we'll get all that figured out, and we'll let you know, and we'll go from there. And some lucky people will be winning us all. So I can't wait to see y'all get it. So anyway, we're going to get everything back, and we're going to get back here to Bellhoppers and hang out with him a little bit more, and enjoy the rest of our day. And here in a little while, I'll go get some grub, because I know I'm getting hungry. I don't know about Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm getting kind of hungry. So we'll talk to you folks later. Over and out. Stay safe wherever you are. All right, this next little clip is some McCullochs that I went and picked up for Bellhopper. A couple big block Macs, I guess you could say. You can see what they are and the condition they're in the video, so stay tuned. We didn't know anything about these. The one of them, the one that's running in the video, it was not running when we got it. The bar and chain was stuck. You literally couldn't move it. We sprayed some Freol on it, got it broke free, and looked like it hadn't been used in quite some time. But them old Macs will surprise you. They really will. So stay tuned, and hope you enjoy the little clip. Oh, and also the clip gets cut a little short because my phone died, but we got a good little portion of it. So hopefully you enjoy. Yeah. Money well spent. Sharpen the chain, you'll be ready to go cut wood. How much were these? 87cc too?
I think so. I wonder if you shut it down and fire it right back up.
I don't know. Probably so. I don't imagine it would be changed. They sound good, don't they? They sound awesome. It'd be kind of cool to have one to play around with. Probably not. That's because it's probably leaking. Probably flood. Well, if we don't wait long, it might flood out if we let it sit too long.
It probably will, but it looks like it's leaking. Well, that's good enough for that.
I'm amazed that we just took something that we just went and picked up like 10 minutes ago and the chain was stuck and everything, and now we got it.
Got a chrome handle on it. It acts like the points is up there once in a while.
Probably need to be adjusted a little bit. But there's no telling when the last time that thing's been run.
I want to put a chain on it and cut wood with it.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
I think this winter we're going to take one of them 101s and build a race off.
I got a 797 block in the back of the truck.
That'd be cool.
Just a regular 101. Don't have to be a racing engine. That'll make it pop.
That'd be cool.
I don't have a 101, but I do have a 797 in the back of the truck.
How much is that?
It's 123 cc's. It's same as a 101.
He said the recoil was a little wonky on this one, but I know you got plenty of those.
You can make an expansion chamber. Hey, have we not got any old
Yeah, we got one.
I don't know
got any,
what's going on with this one.
any 80cc expansion chamber? We done got rid of all of them, man.
No, I think there's one down there.
There's one down there.
Motorcycle.
Yeah, he's got one down there. I think it came off of a KTM. Came off a KTM. He's got a expansion chamber down there.
It don't have the right numbers on it.